Module 2, Sunday, December 6th, 2015, opening to a lesson. Good morning, boys and girls. Today is Monday, December 7th. We are about to embark on a new 3 to 4 day lesson, and it will be on what was life like in the 17th century for the Powhatan Indians. Powhatan! Has anyone ever heard of the Powhatan Indians? By the way, it is pronounced almost like Manhattan, but it's Powhatan, spelled Powhatan. Does anyone know who the Powhatan Indians were? Let's assume nobody knows who they were. Well, the Powhatan Indians lived in Virginia, and they were the first tribe to interact with the Jamestown colony. Can anyone tell me what the Jamestown colony was? Let's assume nobody knows who the Jamestown colony was. The Jamestown colony was Great Britain's first permanent settlement in America, North America, in 1607. So the Powhatan Indians were the first Indian tribe to interact with European settlers in North America in 1607, well over 400 years ago. These Indians, to describe them, they spoke the Powhatan language, or Virginia Algonquin. To briefly describe their confederacy, their organization, and their government, they were amongst different Algonquin tribes in Virginia. There were the Powhatans, there were the Pamunkeys, the Mattapones, and the Chickahominy tribes. They were all independent from each other. Of course, there was one famous chief with his first or real name as Wahunsonacock, changed his name to Chief Powhatan. He was the one that united the tribes. He was the leader then of the Powhatan Confederacy. And as a result of Chief Powhatan, he had a daughter. And many of you students have heard of this daughter. Her name begins with a P. You may have read about her in books, magazines, articles. You may have seen her in a Disney movie. If you've seen her in a Disney movie, you know who I'm talking about. Can anyone tell me who Chief Powhatan's, or the name of Chief Powhatan's daughter? Let's assume no one knows. Her name was Pocahontas. She was probably the most famous Powhatan Indian. She married the Englishman John Rolfe. She did die at 21. She died young. But many people are descended from her son, Thomas. To briefly speak on the Powhatan Indians and their culture, their way of life, which you're going to read about via the materials I send out to you of the assignment and the website address you'll be able to access. But the children lived by playing amongst each other. They did chores in the wigwams that they lived in. Those are their huts or homes. The women wore knee-length fringe skirts. The men wore breechcloths. They both wore earrings and moccasins. The women went out into the fields and gathered nuts and berries and fruits. The men were fighters. They were warriors. And they went out and hunted the game. They actually traveled on their waterways with dugout canoes. They used dogs as pack animals on land because there were no horses at the time. The horses came over with the Europeans. The Powhatans grew corn, squash, beans. They hunted deer, turkey, and fish. The men used tomahawks in battle, heavy war clubs as weapons. They made beads and basketry for arts and crafts. That's pretty much it as far as their people goes. You'll be able to read more in detail when I hand out the printout or the handout. That'll have the website. There'll be more websites. You'll be using your internet with your assigned class laptops, and you'll be able to read more on their culture, their way of life, and stuff like that. You will all be assigned to groups, 3 to 4 per group. You'll read the information together. You will be assigned your class laptops for internet usage. You will save your work on the school's network drive in this class's folder. I will be assigning a leader to each group. I do not want 1 or 2 people doing all the work. One of the purposes to assign a leader to each group is to make sure everybody's participating. and also to update me on the group's progress. The overall reading completion of the assignment will be spread across 3 to 4 days. Today is Monday the 7th. I need this by this Thursday, which is December 10th, the latest. You'll be assigned the printout. You need to complete it. This printout asks for numerous things, such as I look at my list here, there will be, as you look around the room, there are 8 stations. 8 stations around the room with images from the website on the printout. You'll be tying that together as a part of the assignment. There is one website, multiple images. The handout has a clue sheet section. You'll be completing that. There is a category section on the printout that you will be completing. There is a hypothesis question that you will also complete. And there are 5 questions that you will answer evaluating your work on this assignment. So you will see that all on the handout/printout that I hand out to you. Again, I'll pass out this reading article assignment to the class. In addition, there will also be, as I call for action here, I'm reminding you that we do need this assignment completed by Thursday, the 10th. I can't emphasize that enough. I'm giving you 3 to 4 days in class to complete this assignment. It has to be done by this Thursday, the latest, which is December 10th. As we move along here, I will be available for assistance during this assignment. I will be communicating to your group leaders. I will be walking around the room monitoring for progress. I will answer any questions that you have. You can come to me for any questions. I will interrupt your work to provide advice and more information on the assignment. And in conclusion here, this will count as an in-class assignment. This will count as an in-class assignment. The material on this assignment will be covered in a future test. This is important. Not only do you have to complete this assignment by this Thursday, but I'd like you to dive into it and understand it and get it to be interesting. And of all, remember the information, because it will be presented on a future test. Does anyone have any questions? Let's assume there are no questions. Boys and girls, I ask you to start the assignment. If you have any questions, please come to me. Thank you.